It's Wednesday. And do you know what day that is?
That's If These Walls Could Talk
That's
Day.
right. If they could talk on Wednesday, they would. But we're going to talk for them. I'm Wendy Stuart.
And I'm Tym Moss.
And
welcome to If These Walls Could Talk.
We are so happy to be here with you today. I'm not going to give it away, but wait till you see what we're going to do on camera today. That's all I'm going to say, right?
Yeah, you
right?
got to stick around. It's good.
It's going to be really, really good. Tym, I have to tell you, I so enjoyed going to see you in your play.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I was in the play Reunion. It's one of my favorite scripts. Gus Ferrari had written it. It's a short play, and he wrote it with me in mind. So that's always good.
How cool, right?
And it just fits me so perfectly. I like the story. I like the character, just everything. I thank you. I'm glad you felt it.
I absolutely did. You know, and it was at the Producers Club for people who that have or haven't been there. I've always auditioned there. It is one of those old New York buildings, black box, narrow hallways, too much paint on the walls.
Not enough room.
Not enough
for
room
your knees.
Right in the dressing room.
The dressing room.
Someone had hit their head.
I did.
You were the one that.
Yeah, a door fell on me.
He's here to still talk about it. But you know what? It's the quality. This is what I loved about it. It's the quality of the work. It's where people can afford to put things up.
Right.
And these were for plays about relationships, which and we could relate to so many things. And so I was totally.
But I do I like reunions, and I also like Bitter Betty.
Yes.
This Saturday we're going to be doing Bitter Betty's at Red Eye, and you can go to redeyetickets.com to get tickets for it. So
absolutely.
And it's there, it's almost sold out. It's getting there. So
and there's a birthday party after to celebrate all of the Bitter Betty Leos.
Actually, there's three things. There's going to be three things that night. There's going to be comedy, cabaret, and cake.
C, and C. But you won't be seeing me.
No,
because I'm going to Alaska and to discover more about climate change. And unfortunately, one of the places I was going to was called the Mendenhall Glacier. And a couple of days ago, this is so awful, a piece of it broke off with all the homes that were on it and fell into the water. And I don't even know what to say. I don't even know if I'll get there. They had closed down the airport in Juneau. I'm hoping the glacier is so big I'll be able to explore other parts of it. But I mean, this will tell you how fast climate change is
absolutely happening. That's what I was scared of, that it was happening faster than we thought it was, and it is.
And it is happening faster than we all thought it was. But because I won't be here next week, we're bringing you a wonderful, what I call a do-over show. One of our favorite guests was Charles Bush.
Oh God, I love Charles.
Who has his new book coming out, Leading Lady. He talked about it on our show many months ago. Well, it's coming out September 12th. So we're going to do a little, rerun of the show. If you missed it the first time, tune in. And even if you didn't miss it the first time, Charles is absolutely fascinating. He's had an incredible life with the female characters that he has created, well known for Vampire Lesbians of Sodom. And a lot of his new book is about his Aunt Lil, his Auntie Mame, who raised him and made him the person he is. So I love him.
I do too.
And he's one of your friends.
He's so creative. Just such an original and creative and incredible human being that gets the job done. He's made movies. He's done theater. He knows how to pull things together. I just adore that.
Super talented
absolutely,
too.
Absolutely
super talented.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say. Also, last week, Ike Avelli, love Ike. Ike and I shot another episode of Loose Lips with our friends Angel Electra and Shady Pines.
And Angel Electra, all right.
Which is very fun. So that's coming out actually later today. It'll be out on video, I believe.
Well, fabulous.
And earlier today, before I came here, I was shooting video segments with my friend Andrew Singer, who we're doing like music videos or dance videos.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so they'll be popping out soon. So
super fun. Well, speaking of all these talented people, we have the Fringe Equality Festival hosted. One of our hosts is Evan Lawrence, and it is going to be at the Hudson Hound. And the tagline, of course, on it is "Equality Rocks," and we know this. This is going to be August 25th, starting at I think 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or something like that. You can look on my page. I'll be promoting it, or go to Evan Lawrence's page on Facebook. But we'll make sure everyone knows about it. It's in Jersey City, and the best thing, 1 block from the Grove Street station. You know, location,
right?
Location. But we have some wonderful performers. Myself, Evan Lawrence, Cecily,
Cecily
and more, and more. If I don't have a flyer in front of me, I can't remember everybody. Oh my God, there's so much to remember all the time. And speaking of
remembering and several things at once and going on.
Our guest today, my gosh, everybody kept telling me you need to have this woman on your show.
Yeah,
and
for years.
Yeah, for years.
Absolutely.
I moved into a new age range trying to get her on the show. No, just joking. But you know, I didn't give up. Right? Tenacity wins the game, and my gosh, she is such a major talent. She is a songwriter, a director. She's known in every cabaret piano bar from here to Kingdom Come. You know her from Brandy's. You know her from the Duplex. You know her from Stonewall. Yeah. She's been up for MAC Awards. And besides being an all-around talent, the real reason we're having her on this show today is there's a lot of things she's famous for, but one of the big ones is the sauce. So please welcome Maria Gentile.
Yes.
Did I say it correctly?
Gentile or Gentile. If we were in Italy, it would be
okay. She had to give the
real.
I mean, if we were in Italy, we're not.
Let's get real close.
Yep, I'm here. I'm here. She's there.
Okay,
we made ourselves very, very
Maria
tiny.
Gentile right here.
Yay. The house with the sauce. It's like it, and it's all good. Well, first of all, thank you for joining us. You were, I wasn't going to give up till I
love it. I'm happy to be
and
here.
a shout out to Laurie Towers. Maybe you were the one that harassed Maria and said you got to go.
Yes, and Chauncey also, our mutual friend
Chauncey to death. Chauncey kept telling me you need to have Maria on your show. I'm like, I keep contacting her. She doesn't get in touch with me. He's like, I'll let her know. But you see, all good things happen.
It always works out when it's supposed to.
It works out.
Well, the thing is, you're so busy. My God, you're like,
as are you,
right.
You, but
you have a diversity. You know, when we were even talking to you before this show, this is what I love about this show. You know, we know people from cabaret, singers, songwriters, directors. We're all artists, but then there's all the other stuff. What I call in your case, not meat and potatoes, meat and sauce.
Right, right. She's a cook, an Italian cook. Can she cook?
And can she cook? So where do you get all the time to do everything that you do?
I basically live on naps. I
you
basically am.
You're right. You are really a nightlife person.
I really am. I work at most of the clubs, the Duplex and Brandy's on the weekends. I work till about 4 a.m, maybe later.
My goodness.
By the time I get home and find parking in our neighborhood,
right.
It's about 6 a.m.
So you're parking that car.
Parking.
Wow.
Sometimes I can't find a park. This actually works in my favor in a weird way. I can't find a parking space, so I'll park at a hydrant because I know they don't ticket till 7 a.m.
Oh, that's
yes.
So we get out.
Then
that's
I run.
Take a nap.
They don't. I go take a nap. I start cooking sauce.
There's no nap. There's just sauce.
No. And so I'll go upstairs. I'll start something. I'll start my bolognese or something, or a chicken soup or whatever, and so just to kill like an hour, and then run down, walk my dog. And find a space because people are leaving for work at that time.
Yeah, there's movement then.
So you learn
smart. Yeah, you're really a savvy New Yorker.
You have to be.
Right.
You have to learn. You know, listen, we could kick and scream all we want, but there are ways to get around things.
Right.
You just have to. It's all time management. I remember somebody said that to me when I was first starting in this business in Boston. She said it's all time management.
Yeah,
all of it. You have to, because you can't just expect this is just my theory. You can't expect your art to finance your life. You have to finance your art.
Right.
Well,
so that's how I look at it. So I love all my jobs, including my teaching job. I love everything I do. But if I can an hour in a day, make some extra money doing something, I'll do it.
I know, you get it. We're all exactly the same way. You really have to have that work ethic if you're going to be in the arts. It's funny because when I talk to kids that are getting into this business and they're like, when I started, and I've told Tim this, it was like a sin to have an outside job.
Right.
You wanted right. Because
Yeah,
you've been doing
right.
this since the 90s.
Well, I've been doing it since the 80s.
Me since the 80s. You remember? If, oh my God, if you had an outside job, it meant you probably weren't. Yeah, you were a sellout, right? And what
look at what Rent, the musical is kind of based on in a weird way. One of them makes it. He's in real estate, and they all look at him like he's the enemy.
Right.
And so, I'm not judging Rent, but I'm saying that's one of the, even in the 90s, that came out in the 90s, that was a big deal.
Right.
But you have to, I also was in Tony and Tina's Wedding, the off-Broadway show for many years. And I met so many of the greatest people that I'm still really tight with today, that are some of my best friends. And we, off Broadway, you don't make a lot of money. I was teaching 20 hours a week and doing seven shows a week, and I couldn't pay my bills. My God.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that. I remember, first of all, that was hot, and there was another one that was hot too.
There was
remember all those dinner theaters, Tony and Tina's Wedding. There were so many at the time.
Funerals,
right. The funeral, Grandma Sylvia's funeral, which I did understudy for.
Oh, did you?
Yes, and I didn't get to go on, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. It's not paying enough.
No,
but as a performer, and this, Tim, right? We take everything.
Yeah.
But how many years were you in Tony and Tina's for?
6 years.
I love it.
Wow.
That's a big commitment.
Yeah, and I played 6 different roles.
Oh my God.
And I loved it. I mean, because it's improv. You're fighting on your feet.
Right.
You have a timeline. You have to be at a certain place at a certain time, according to the music. So you hear a song.
The musical cue.
And you're like, I know by the end of the song, I have to be there, and I have to be engaged in this.
Right.
But in the meantime, you can. So what was great about that show is it teaches you to write comedy on your feet.
Right.
And also be in the moment. It's a great skill. It's like taking 7 improv classes a week.
Oh, and that show, I'm telling you, is hysterical.
It is hysterical,
And everyone that's involved in it is just wonderful. Like,
you just don't see it as much as you used to. They used to be like castings for it all the time.
Yeah, now it's mostly on touring companies.
Right.
But how did they do that? Because the thing that I loved in the Village, when I saw it, Tony and Tina's was in the Village, and your ticket was an invitation to the wedding. And you walk in and they said, are you here for the bride or the groom? And then they'd seat you on one side or the other, and you actually watch the wedding. And then you go out, and the entire audience walk through the street over to a club up on the 2nd floor for the reception.
How fabulous was that?
And then you had people fighting.
And we had so many amazing. Yes, it was crazy.
Like a real wedding, right?
Like you went
families going at each other.
They were the original interactive theater people.
Yes.
And most of those people are my friends that wrote. I mean, they weren't my friends when they wrote it. But when I'm in the show, I met them, and so we've stayed friends for 30 years. So great people. And my musical director was one of my best friends, Lynn Portis. I will say Lynn Portis, genius, because she is a genius. She was the musical director there. I met her there, and we've remained. We work together still to this day.
Good.
She actually did the arrangement of one of my songs, my latest song.
Which is right. And you just brought out something else. There you were in Tony and Tina's Wedding for 6 years. But you write songs. You have to have a lot of hats on.
Yeah, you know how I started writing songs? It's a true story. They're all true stories.
We would hope they're true. Nobody ever comes on this show and lies.
Sometimes people tell these crazy stories.
No, they embellish.
I was working for a social service called Center for Family Life. It was my
first. Was here in New York?
Yep, it was in Brooklyn. My first teaching job ever, and we had to write one of the. We would do these these improv shows, and my supervisor said to me, I need someone to write music for this show, and a few songs. And so I hired my girlfriend at the time, who was a wonderful songwriter, but to write these songs, and she just dropped the ball. She dropped it. She just was over. So whatever it was, it doesn't matter. No judgment. No judgment.
But I had to come up with
something. So I said to her the night before, I had to turn stuff in. I said, listen, I will sit with you at the piano, because I don't play the piano, but I will I have all the lyrics. I will dictate the melodies, just put chords to them. Okay. We'll record them, and I'll bring them in. I'll say they're yours. And that's what I did. And I brought them in, and we they were in these shows. And at the end of the show, my supervisor said to me, you didn't know, your friend did not write these songs. And my heart sank. And she said, you did. The way, because I was also teaching a creative writing class.
They knew who you were.
And my kids were, I was, lyric writing. And she said, next time, she said, we'll pay her this time, but next time we're paying you and you're writing these songs. So I went to Lynn Portis, who I was working with. I was like, Linny, I don't write songs. She's like, come on, you're a song. I'm going to show you how easy this is. And that's how it started, because I would have melodies in my head. I always wrote my own lyrics. I just didn't. And then eventually I started playing the guitar and things like that. But I mostly, that's how I co-write.
Wow.
I have melodies in my head and lyrics, and I'll go to someone. I like to write with different people all the time.
Oh,
and then
write together.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that would be great. Melody and lyrics, and this has been how you've been your whole life.
And then
no training in this.
No, it's just
right. This is, by the way, we heard this last week too. We had 2 singer-songwriters on. Both the people we had on last week, same thing.
Yeah,
melody, lyrics, no training. You realize the amount of kids that are spending a fortune in these schools training to learn how to do that.
I mean, but that'll work for them if that,
I know, but it's incredible.
I know, but I do believe that one of the best things you can do is take yourself outside of the rigidity of being.
I so agree.
You know, and just let it flow. Let it flow.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, that is the whole point. And just, I tell my kids this all the time that I teach, like, don't edit yourselves. Just write everything. You edit later.
Right. Get it out. Get it out. Take what's up here and get it out.
Exactly. Just start. Start somewhere. Get your paper. Get your pen. Just start. Don't even use. Just write like cursive. Come on, let's go. I get them writing that way. They start to write on their phones. That's fine too. But start writing on paper.
Oh, we have lighting issues here. We're holding the light up with a thing of water and some gaffer tape.
I love it.
So homegrown. There we go.
I love it.
My light is
beautiful.
Beautiful. Look at the light. It's really beautiful. So, when you were growing up, you are first generation American.
Firstly, you grew up in Boston.
I grew up in Boston, in the North End, which is the Italian.
Yeah, that is very.
You want some good food? Go to the North End of Boston. And if you are in the North End of Boston, go to Lucia's Restaurant on Hanover Street. My friend Frankie Udiciani.
Frankie.
Oh, he was my first love. I loved him too. He was my best friend as a kid. And we went to Catholic school together with St. Anthony.
Catholic school girl. St. Anthony.
St. Anthony's in the North End. I grew up there, and then we moved out to the suburbs a little at a time. As Italians migrate together, one family would go, we would just all go together.
Yeah.
And then wherever you migrated to, though, you probably migrated with other Italians.
Of course, and
they all
block.
Did you have a big family?
I do have a big family. My dad's family's all in Italy still, but my mother's family came here one family at a time. So one family would come over, work really hard, send money over, sponsor them, work really hard, send money over. But what they did back then, which it's all connected, immigration, right? Because I'm very big. I'm a very big advocate of immigration.
Right.
And I feel like the Italians in the 50s and 60s, America needed workers. Needed workers badly. I mean, it was an industrial boom,
right?
And they needed workers. Italy was starving because it was after World War II, and they were pillaged.
They needed work.
They needed work, so they, But what they would do, and I so admire it, they would all come over. They worked in these factories or wherever they worked. They would all go to night school together after work,
so to better themselves, right? Yeah,
like to learn English.
And
that's
they wanted so badly to get their citizenship, so they would work in these factories, go home would eat, and then they all meet at like the church, the community center.
Oh, that's I
learn English together, and then they all got their citizenship because they wanted to understand the language. But I so admire their work ethic, and
absolutely,
that's what I come from. I come
from.
Well,
it's kind of departmentalizing the brain,
right?
I've got to do this, work during the day to make the money, grab a bite to eat, go to school at night, and I love the community mentality.
Absolutely,
and the craftsmanship that came out of that community.
Absolutely.
It's the work ethic. It's the craftsmanship. I want to compare it to now because we do have a huge issue right now, and I wonder, because I don't know. We've had all these people that have come here that want to work now, and they want to become part of it, whether they came here legally or illegally. And a lot of them came illegally. They do want to work,
right?
And we have a lot of people in this country that are, Americans that don't want to work. They don't want to do the building, the construction, and all of that. And you got to compare it, right?
Even
they don't want to work.
Absolutely. Right. And I'm not going to beat this to death. I just want to throw this out there.
Sure. Please.
There was something I heard on on 1010 Wins one. They interviewed this man. He's the head of the Bodega Association.
I know about them too. Yeah.
And he said, listen, how many migrants do you have? I need 15,000 jobs.
Right.
Please expedite their working papers so I can hire them. And these people are willing to work. Another man upstate New York on Peekskill said, I have 82 jobs right now in my restaurants. I have 5 restaurants, 82 jobs not filled. And I am desperate for workers. Please help us expedite. So this is not about, I hear people that are against it. Well, we don't want to feed these people.
Right.
Listen,
these people. They're not even human beings. It's these people.
These people want to
They do
work.
want to work. Thank you for saying that.
I was at the car wash the other day in Jersey. Every single person that worked there was from another country. There was not one American kid, and I thought, thank God these kids are working. They want to work. So look, nobody's for being taken advantage of. Nobody's for giving people a free ride. Nobody's for that.
Right.
But I'll tell you, I managed a restaurant. One of the things I did do a few years ago is I managed a restaurant. I managed the restaurant. And I said to the owners, I said, please don't take this the wrong way, but I can't get these kids to do anything. You have to get me some immigrants. I know this sounds crazy. It sounds almost
almost
racist. It's not. It's I need hard workers. Please get me. And they did. They started, and all of a sudden the American kids were like, oh yeah, he's really got a hustle. Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe I need to get a hustle on too, right?
And these kids were like machines, hardworking, wonderful people. And I love that. And then
that are appreciative to be there.
Right. Same.
And then because they were working so hard, and their friends would come after their restaurant jobs. I said, you know what? We need to have like a special industry night just for them, like after hours, late night. We're just playing all kinds of fun music that they want to hear. And there was this community of workers that started up there in Harlem that I was part of, being part of that,
helping to develop.
Yeah. And I just. Look, I'm so tired of hearing people say, go back to your own country. Everybody's from somewhere else, at least 3 generations back. So let's stop doing that. Let's just take a deep breath and start realizing that America is just the greatest country in the world.
Right.
Absolutely.
We operate from a place of love. Let's operate from a place of love instead of fear.
I agree.
And let's structure. This is what's blowing me away.
Yeah.
We've got people sitting on the sidewalk in front of the Roosevelt Hotel. They can't even process them quick enough.
Right.
There's nothing structured, because the very thing you're talking about, construction, bodegas, there's plenty of use where people can get jobs and the people want to work, but there doesn't seem to be a structure. Now they put them in a camp on Randall's Island.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what is being put in place?
There's two sides to that, because there's a homeless situation.
Yeah, we have the homeless situation.
So I think that I do believe, I can't see through walls. I don't know what's happening, but I do believe that things are moving in the right direction.
Right.
And I feel like we just need to expedite the process. It's usually a 2-year process.
Well, that's a good point
to get someone working papers, right? But now they're saying, let's get it down to 6 months.
Right.
Now I'm not talking about giving someone citizenship in 6 months. I'm talking about working papers,
so they can work
and prove yourself. And we need these people. Farmers need people all across the country.
Right.
People in Texas were saying the same thing. We need people to work on the farms.
Absolutely.
We just don't. We don't want people rushing over.
Otherwise, the cost of strawberries are going up.
Everything.
Thank you, Tim. Tim just brought it full circle. Right.
Yeah.
If we don't get that kind of support.
Listen, there are crops right now in California that are literally sitting there and just rotting because no one's there to help get them through to the market and all that. So I really believe that if we all just really work together, enough with the fear, enough with the judgment and the blaming and the
finger pointing and all of it,
just work together. This is going to help our economy. It's already helping our economy. If you go to certain places in the city or Jersey, you can see that these people are working so hard. Every job you see, there's cashiers, there are truck drivers,
but you have to open up your eyes and look to see it.
Right. Next time, here's a project for you, just a daily project. Walk around the city, make a note of it, how many people do you deal with every day that are working, that are immigrants?
Right.
That's all.
Right.
And no judgment.
Just be observant.
Just be observant. These people are moving your economy. They're not taking from your economy.
Right.
Well,
They're
even the
moving.
whole delivery thing that happened, that exploded during the pandemic.
Right.
I mean, these guys have a right to have, and I have never been run down by a delivery guy with a motorized, electric bike. That's never happened. There's the guys with the motorcycle with no license that are up to no good.
Right.
But are these delivery guys? It amazes me. In the winter, they have big plastic bags on their hands.
I know.
And we became a delivery economy during the pandemic,
Yes,
and
we
we have
did.
stayed that way.
Yep.
These are the guys that are, they're coming and delivering the food. It's
I know.
fabulous.
That's
Why
why.
don't
Just
people
be grateful.
realize this?
Let's just be grateful.
I agree.
Let's be grateful. That's all I'm saying.
You have such a work ethic. You really do.
I mean, that's what I come from, and I remember when I was like maybe in junior high, my grandfather, who was my idol of my life.
What was his name?
Jerry.
It was Jerry. It wasn't Giuseppe.
Chidiaco.
What is it?
Chidiaco.
That's what I was looking
Which
for.
translates to Jerry, but they all wanted American names.
Chiriaco.
They all wanted to sound American. So my Nonna Judy, and he would come and pick me up and say, "Come on, you want to make a little extra money?" Sure. I go anywhere he went. And he was a telephone repairman. He worked overnights, crazy hours, and he would pick me up. He would go into the woods and chop wood. Then I would carry it up the hill and to the back of his truck. We'd wrap it and we'd go door to door.
Oh my God.
And sell cords of wood.
Cords of wood to people.
Oh my God.
And that was my first introduction
entrepreneurial.
To
Tim, right?
Yeah, and sales. I was like
sales.
Right.
Door-to-door sales.
Right.
But I loved how proud he was that I would go do anything with him. He was just a wonderful human.
You had that,
Yeah,
but that's your whole family. Your whole
But
family.
again, that's so cool that he nudged you in that direction.
Yeah, and my mother, who was handicapped, she actually was in a wheelchair towards the end of her life.
Wow.
She knitted beautiful things. She made little dog clothes, whatever
she could do with her hands.
anything. She made gorgeous little dresses for babies, and I would sell them for her. That was, and she needed income, so she didn't sit around and collect disability. Not that I'm judging that,
but she did what she had to do.
I said to her, "Ma, you're eligible for this," and she said, "Let people that really need it get that. I can still work." So that's where I come from.
Right. And you come from that.
Well, now, also coming and selling things.
Yeah,
you are quite the cook.
I am.
Mama did
Speaking of selling stuff,
did Grandma and Mom and everybody teach you?
You know
who taught you how to cook?
My mom, definitely. Although I loved every cook my mom's sister, my Ziana. Wow, she's an amazing cook. They're all great cooks, and depending on who they married. So, like,
that's so funny,
you would pick up the, your husband might have been from a different region of Italy.
Oh, so you pick up that flavor. And
like
for
my Ziana, my mother's sister, married a really great guy, my Uncle Joe from Abruzzo, which is very meat. It's meat.
It's
heavy.
a meat.
Yeah. So they cooked like all this meat, which I loved. And my father and mother, they grew up together. But my father is a hairdresser. He's retired now, but he was always worried about his weight and looking a certain way. That Vidal Sassoon era. Yes, he was that guy. So my mother always had to cook super, super healthy, like vegetables and protein, which is my go-to when I want to lose weight as well. But my Ziana, I tend to lean towards her type of cooking more. So I would sit with my mother as young as I can remember, even on a little stool, and she would cook because she was busy. She had to go into her second job. So I would sit with her. And I remember her saying to me, I'd say, "What did you just put in there? What's that? What's that? What's that?" And then she would say, "Okay, now you do it."
So of course you were hands-on. You would have to be. Right?
You would help her out.
And then she'd say, "Now you fry that while I do this." And then eventually you became what she'd call me. We didn't have cell phones there. She'd call the home phone and say, "Listen, I'm running late. Can you make dinner tonight?" Of course, I knew how to do it.
How old were you?
Maybe like 10 or 11.
Yeah, so you already knew how to make dinner. My gosh.
And you're still making dinner. Now tell us about your line of sauces.
Your venture.
Okay, so during COVID, as you know, we were all stuck in the house. Some people could work from home, but we're in the entertainment business, so we had
with zero.
Right. And unemployment did help, and I am grateful for it.
Same.
But when you live on tips, that's not covered so much.
Right.
So I said to myself, I'm gonna be in trouble here. What can I do by myself? I don't need anybody's help for, that I can generate income. And my friend Bill Goffey, who's a piano player in the city, great funny guy. I was cooking for him anyway because he really likes my bolognese. And he said, you should sell that. I said, who the hell is going to buy bolognese?
Yeah.
He said, you'd be surprised. So
Pretty much everybody.
Bolognese buyers.
Crazy. He's like, people don't cook like that. So I put as a joke on Facebook, I wrote, hey, crazy Billy Goffey says I should sell my bolognese. Who the hell would buy bolognese? In 2 hours, I had 40 Facebook message. Are you selling sauce? I'll buy sauce.
Yeah.
Then I realized that most people don't cook in the city, don't have big enough apartments. Also,
to make bolognese or to make a real
authentic home cooked meal. They might put frozen dinners in or order takeout. But even that's
my whole existence that you just had to describe.
Okay. I'm not. No,
but it's
judging.
true.
I'm saying most people run home, they heat something up and whatever. So I was getting so much. I had to quickly do research on things, what I had to, and I just started it. And I would put on Facebook sauce call, and people would just order. And I was like, oh my God, I better get cooking. So I would cook because I had so much time on my hands around all day I would cook and then deliver. So one week I would do like Brooklyn and Queens. Another week I would
this is incredible.
Just Jersey.
Right.
Another week I would do like the Bronx and Manhattan.
Yeah.
And deliver to everybody. And I would make a route and everything. And
your stuff freezes.
And you deliver it.
She delivered it, and you can freeze all this stuff.
And people who was a big buyer of mine, I don't think she'll mind me saying it, was Karen Mason.
Oh,
I love it. Oh my God. And her
she wanted the sauce.
Wonderful husband, Paul. So,
Karen and Paul.
Yeah, but they, I remember that Paul was like, do you make meatballs? And it was this funny thing. Like I would get people come up to me like it was a drug deal. They'd be like, got any meatballs?
That was kind of like me because I was like, I'll meet you in the park. Let's meet in the park.
We had our little
little
masks on. And so I said, maybe I should make meatballs. And that's how it started. And then I was also cooking for these two women that were homebound. They were, they're older.
But they couldn't get out.
They couldn't get out because one of them had a health issue. So they were like, we usually go to restaurants, but are you cooking?
Yeah,
I said, what do you want? I'll make it. So every week we would like go through a list of things.
So your menu might change, and
I would change their menu.
Like a personal chef.
Yes.
Wow.
And then I started making
the
spicy sausage. I started making that, and then the chicken soup I made because all of my friends were getting COVID, right? And the number one complaint was, oh my God, I can't taste anything. I lost my taste buds. And to me, that is the scariest.
That's exactly what happened to me. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But chicken soup, I don't know what was in it, but it brought it back for people.
Right. But wait, what I did, Wendy, I went a step up. I said, I am going to add spices in there.
Right. She's smart.
That are going to wake up those taste buds again that have gone dormant because of COVID. So a lot of people, it took weeks to get their taste back.
Right.
8 months.
Right.
So so I went and put together all these Middle Eastern spices and spices from Asian spices, all kinds of things that would like crank that up.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, wow, this is really good. So I called it Three Kings Chicken Soup.
Three Kings Chicken Soup.
Some of the spices are from Yemen.
Right.
Some are from the Middle East.
Frankincense, myrrh.
Yes. So of course, in our creative minds, I always have to think. I always think theme, right? So I thought, wow, you get into these crazy things while you have COVID. You're like spaced out.
COVID head,
right? COVID head. You're like, wow, if the Three Kings delivered chicken soup to Jesus during COVID, what would it be? So but anyway, that's a joke.
That's
now.
That's your creativity.
That's my creativity.
But it's what's the story with Maria?
What's the story with Maria, which is my talk show.
Right. Yeah, which we haven't even talked about.
Yeah, we'll get to your talk show. But
this is the bolognese, which is remarkable. I have had
Tim, you've had this, right?
Oh my God, it's so good.
Wow.
Tim and Ike.
And there's also the meatballs.
Mighty Meatballs, which
Meatballs.
The Mighty Meatball over there is calling. I already had one of them. Maria makes the biggest balls you've ever seen.
Look at Maria's mighty balls.
Okay.
Now that's
okay, here, Tim, let's put them together.
I love
These
it.
are the look at Maria's balls here, right on
Listen,
camera.
if you're gonna make them, you got to make them big.
The balls are huge.
Nobody wants.
I know
Oh
my
my
husband.
God.
My husband's
These
watching.
are cold.
Alan,
They're eating them cold.
Oh
it
my
doesn't
God.
matter. They're amazing. If Alan is watching, Alan loves meatballs.
Oh, this
these
is
are you have to
incredible.
have these.
I love
Wait, I'm
it.
like an animal. I need a knife.
That's okay. Let's give her the
There's a
knife. I
knife
brought
over here.
knives. I
Right,
brought them.
right. Tim just
Um,
put the ball in his mouth
yeah.
whole.
I love
He
Like I
didn't
usually
eat-
do.
Now, Tim, I also have a spicy sausage. I think you've had that too.
Oh yes.
You and I get the spicy sausage.
Uh-huh.
That's my favorite, actually.
Mm.
And then the chicken soup. And then I also, if you're a vegetarian and vegan, I have marinara, which is just tomato,
Oh,
vegetable,
I
and
love the way you rolled your tongue when you said
marinara.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
Italian is my first
Mm.
language. When I first I went to school, I couldn't speak English. So
Yeah, like ricotta and mozzarella
yeah,
would be
ricotta and mozzarella.
and mozza.
Yeah.
Or don't you say mozz or
Well, mozza is like a shortened version,
Mhm.
and that's like an Italian American. What's it is funny. I love it. I love the Italian American accent. It's
I know, it's
hysterical.
great.
But if we
Oh
were
my
in
God,
Italy, it
these
would be
are so good.
mozzarella,
mozzarella.
burrata,
Mhm.
things like that. So
Oh my
It-
God, this is so
I
heavenly.
love that.
I
You,
wish I had known about you.
What?
I did a show during COVID called Pandemic Cooking with Wendy, and
Mm.
everyone
Really?
knew Wendy didn't really cook. But I had people on. Tim came on, and what did you
Mhm.
make? It was pasta.
A pasta.
yeah.
But what was it? Do you
I don't
remember?
know. We made it
something.
together.
Yeah, but I wasn't really.
Well, the
making
great
it.
thing-
But
Great-
you
Great-
did. You did good.
I did
Great
good.
thing about pasta
I wish
is
I
that
had
it's
you
very
on.
cost effective, right?
Uh-huh.
Right.
So rather than cooking
my God,
pasta
this
for
is so good.
people, what I was also offering them was a way to stretch their budget.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
Thank you.
yeah, because it wasn't just about cooking and charging people $30 a plate for something. It was like you buy a quart of this, was very reasonable, and then
Right.
you can
Look at the size of this thing.
yeah. So
This is like 3 meals.
yeah, or more. You
Right.
know, you put
Well, I
a,
meant for like 2 or 3 people.
right a box of pasta, and a lot of my friends
Yeah.
have kids, and
Mhm.
during COVID they were really in a jam.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
they were out
Right.
of work, their partners were out of work, and they
Right.
had kids to feed. So they would buy a lot of the sauce and say, like, "Oh my God, thank God, I'm able."
It
And
was
you can
incredible.
freeze it. So I
Yeah.
would drop off all kinds of. People would buy 6 at a time sometimes,
Mhm.
and just put it in their freezer. But I do love to cook, and I'm back to work full time.
Mhm.
I'm at Brandy's on Friday and Saturday, the Duplex on Wednesday. I'm at Stonewall on Monday night, and then I teach 2 days
That's
a
our
week.
girl.
But I do make, maybe a third of what I used to make. But people can come to where I
Our
work and pick it up.
stories are very
But first thing-
similar. They're very
first
similar
thing-
stories.
Yeah.
Okay, but while Wendy and I finished dogging her mighty balls,
Yeah, I love it.
We ate them. I
we're
had 2
gonna
of
finish
them.
these. We do have
Right.
a video
Yeah.
of an original song of Maria's that I think we'll play right now. So
Because he's a singer and a songwriter too.
yes,
of course
exactly.
he
In
is.
between
Right.
making meatballs and sauces and all of that. So let's take a listen to Maria Gentile's. What is the name of the song?
This is My America.
This-
This is
I
My
love
America,
that.
which was
Co-written with Wiltie and Hall.
Mm.
You may look and feel powerless, think there's nothing you can do, but it's not true. It's not true. You may face a wall in front of you and think there's no way through, but it's not true. It's not true. The United States of America must not divide us in despair. Remember the lady in the harbor said, all are welcome here. And so the huddled masses sail for the free world. My mama passed that statue, and she was just a girl, and she kissed the ground she walked on, and thanked the stars above. This is my America, the land that I love. these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So they headed to America, the tired and the poor. They traveled across oceans, landed on our shores, and they kissed the ground they walked on, thanked the stars above, left this to remain America, the land we all love. The United States of America must not divide us in despair. Remember the lady in the harbor said, all are welcome here. All are welcome here. We may look and feel powerless, think there's nothing we can do, but it's not true. It's not true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you,
Yes.
in that whole video,
Wow.
with all those people from all over, the parents of a lot of your friends who came from everywhere, I
Right.
don't think you missed a trick. You made America great again.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you so much.
I mean,
absolutely.
this should really be out there in
Well,
a huge way.
Thank you
Well,
so
this
much
video
for
was
saying
being
that.
shown. She was saying, "That's my cousin.
Yeah.
That's my friend. This is my friend," and her family
From
that
all
came
over.
and from
Turkey.
everywhere.
We tried to
And
cover. Well, here's
It
what I
was
did.
Amazing.
I want to, and I want to continue. This is my America is the name of the song, co-written with Wiltie and Hall, who is an immigrant. He's from England, and he just became a citizen last year.
Yay.
Oh, good.
Yep, he's an amazing musician and songwriter in his own right, and musical director. My friend Lynn Portis did the arrangement, so she did all the different instruments in there. And what I want to do with this song is this 2023's version, and which I will always archive. But I want to open it up every year right before 4th of July.
Wow.
Mhm.
For other people from around the country, friends, if you send me pictures of you holding a picture of the first people that came
Nice.
over and your family now, we will put you in the video.
I love it.
And I'm putting this out into the universe in front of two great people. My goal is to meet Jill Biden.
Mhm.
I would love to meet Joe as well, but Jill Biden, who's
Right.
Doctor of Education,
Yeah.
and talk to her about getting it in different schools and working on projects in schools across
It's
America,
brilliant.
where
Absolutely,
kids would
yeah.
come together and say, "My family's from here," and
Right.
create your
I
own
love that.
project. Little blackboards or little community centers as well. And what's your "This Is My America" project?
Right.
How would
I
you?
love that.
How would you?
How are you
turn this
going to
into-
show it? How are
Right.
you going to
Uh-huh.
show your
Play.
America?
How do you present
Right.
your America?
And
It's
I-
also teaching tolerance.
That's what
And
it is.
respect.
and
for
that
everyone.
kind of leads us into also your teaching right
Yeah,
now. You said that you're
exactly.
also teaching. Tell
Yeah.
us about where you're teaching.
I work for I've taught since 92. I worked for a wonderful company called Center for Family Life in Brooklyn in the 90s, and I learned everything there. And so shout out to those wonderful people. And then I taught in Morristown at the Mayo Performing Arts Center for 10 years. Amazing center. Kathy Royce Bees was my supervisor. She's the director of education. I cannot say enough about her, so I wanted to mention her name.
Yes,
She
absolutely.
does the most beautiful work. And then now I work for a company called Road Recovery, which is perfect for me because I'm in recovery. I've been sober for 33 years.
Yeah.
And you work in the bar industry.
Listen, no judgment. I always say this.
I
work in the bar industry. I still love the party life. I just cannot. I'm like
Same here.
It's like being a diabetic pastry chef.
Yeah.
You're not going to give up pastries.
Don't forget she's a comedian too.
You're not going to give up making pastries just because you can't, ingest it. But I love making drinks. I'm very proud to say I was voted Time Out New York's 50 top bartenders.
Yay!
So I like creating beautiful drinks and things that taste delicious. So, but anyway, the company I work for, Road Recovery, it's people in recovery that go into underserved communities and work with kids. Right now I'm in the Bronx. I love my babies in the Bronx. And then I work at the Gay Community Center, and we work with
covering
kids.
all your bases.
To teach them songwriting, to help them. It's basically to bring out their voice, whatever that is. And we
tap into their creativity.
Yeah, and turn it into something that they can show the world.
Yeah.
And
be proud of.
Right. And in turn, what that does is it empowers them to go out into the world and do amazing things.
Yeah.
And battle their adversities, whatever those things may be. Every one of these kids has some challenge,
right?
And that you or I couldn't even imagine.
Yep.
And maybe we could imagine it, but they're living it now, and this gives them a reprieve from that. And you know what's so cute? I always say they come in alone, and they leave together.
That's great. Wow,
that.
because they connect.
Yes.
You are connecting them.
Well, because theater does that. Theater does that.
Yeah.
You know, we know that as kids.
It creates family.
We come in, we don't feel like we belong anywhere, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have a family.
These are my tribe. These are my people.
Right. You know, so I mean, you're both,
and you learn to love and respect each other and honor each other.
So I'm very proud of that work, and I love the company I work for, Road Recovery. And it's a lot of famous musicians that donate, like Mick Fleetwood is an amazing supporter.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Billy Joel.
Sweet.
So many amazing, great people are part of it. They also will record with us from time to time.
Nice.
They'll go into the studio with us and record, and the kids are like,
wait, you've had Billy Joel or Mick?
I haven't met them personally,
but they have done that.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
And my mentors have, and they're all friends, and so many of them, just great people. We just worked with an up-and-coming artist, and I want to mention her name. It's Roxini, Roxiny. She's a young, amazing Dominican songwriter, and she is just lovely. And she came to the Gay Community Center and sat with us for weeks and wrote songs with the kids.
Oh, nice.
And then we went into the studio with her. She's a wonderful.
Wow.
Please follow her on YouTube. She's a great songwriter. Roxini, she's a lovely young person. And
speaking of lovely things. Yeah. This is what's left of my people.
Two. This is the second
one. Little thing. Look
there is nothing left of that. I'm like licking the bowl.
No, this is like absolutely
you
incredible.
Always make me happy. You always eat it. I love
it. Oh my God.
Oh, that's right. Yes, because we did when we did on Ike and my show.
Oh, you
were the guest, and I was literally like licking the bottom of the bowl.
I met Tim because we live in the same neighborhood. I met Tim on the street. Got him the sauce. He went to Ike's. They heated it up. They were eating it.
They were on air. Oh my God,
it was
so
hysterical.
Good. So good. But tell us about your show. You've done that for years.
Okay. Yeah. So like you, and it's a little bit different, but like you, I have a show called What's the Story with Maria.
What's the story with Maria?
What's the story?
Because that's how Italians would say it.
Right. What's the story about Maria?
We don't say I'm curious about that person. I'm interested in what you do. What's the story with that guy? That's what we say.
Okay, and you know the pronouns that I like the them and the they that confuses everyone. Yeah. I got one. It's called yous. I grew up in an Italian, Irish, Jewish neighborhood. But the Italians use. Are yous all coming in? Is that just solve that pronoun problem?
Oh my God!
Right, Maria would connect to that.
Oh, it could be. You could change it to "What's the story
with you?"
Wait, what's the story with all of you?
All of you. That's exactly what it would be. What's the story with all of you?
What's the story of it?
Right.
But that's how they
That's
talk.
good English, Jenny. I can understand that.
That's how they speak. So when I was first doing this show, I said, I have to name it something that's true to me. What's the story? So I would ask people, like, I want to know their story, right? So it's kind of a double thing. So what's the story with Maria? So, not so much what's the story with Maria, but so that's it. And then when I was doing the sauce, I'm like,
I've done your show a couple times.
You came to the house.
I haven't been on your show. I need to be on your show.
Wendy, you must be on
I want to be there for meatballs.
You must be on the show for sure.
I love that you're put.
And her face is on there.
I just love it.
You know who designed those labels? I can't take credit. Leo Rodriguez, my sidekick on my show, What's the Story with Maria, who he also runs my website. He's a great, amazing guy. He runs the behind the scenes. He does all my videos.
He did the graphic on this?
Yeah, and he also did the video. So
oh my God,
I sent him all the pictures. I sent him all the videos. I sent him the song and I said, Leo, I trust you. And that's what he came up with. So that if you need,
and
he is a gun for hire.
Is some of the
gun for
spicy chicken soup. Oh my God.
Look at these ingredients. They're all like really clean.
Yep, that's
red pepper, wine, crushed tomatoes.
Yeah. So
like this is not Prego.
No
This is not ragu. It's not Prego. This is Maria's.
And that's why I say you have to eat it within the 4 days or 5 days, or throw it in the freezer because there's no preservatives in here.
Right.
So this is fresh stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Wait, and it says on it that Italian phrase. Go ahead. Keep eating.
Go ahead. Keep eating.
Right.
Keep eating.
So tell them some of the ingredients in this.
Yeah.
Okay. So this, of course, you have your three. They call it the Trinity. The carrots, celery, and onion.
Yeah.
And
Right. Your
chicken,
basics. Right.
chicken broth. And then there's secret blend
of
Middle Eastern spices. Because but there's 7.
That's a spicy.
But there are 7 different spices in there. One is garlic. I will give you that.
That's it. So now we have to guess the other set.
Yeah, if you guess them, I'll tell you. I use all fresh stuff, and it's really good.
Oh, it's so
and
delicious.
this is great if you have a cold because it's
yeah, of course.
Chicken soup. So how can people find out about these?
Yeah.
Well, I'm on Facebook. Maria Gentile, just type in either Brandy's or because there are a few Maria Gentiles. It's a common Italian name. You'll find me on Facebook or through
You're easy to find. Yeah.
I'm easy to find, I think. And just message me. Facebook message me. I cook usually twice a week. Let me know what you like, or I'll give you the prices over that. But it's very reasonable.
You Venmo you.
And they Venmo me, or they pay me cash. Whatever.
And how do we get it?
Now, during COVID, I could deliver, but I don't really have time. Sometimes I can on the way.
But if somebody could come
I'm
to
at
meet
the
you
Duplex on Wednesdays. You can come in.
Brandy's.
People it's the funniest thing. Sometimes I just walk in and then I go to the back and and they go
while she's singing a song.
You guys have a kitchen? I said, no. It's the funniest thing. And both
have the sauce in the back.
Both owners, God bless them, never bother me about it. They're really sweet about it. They actually buy themselves. They're like, hey, you got any extra? So I am blessed to be doing, but I also out in Jersey, I'll deliver if I'm out there because my girlfriend's out in Cliffside Park. So lots of times I'll deliver out there, and I enjoy it. It's something that that brings me great joy when people,
and it brings other people a lot of joy.
But when the fact that you two loved, Wendy had
really
2
great.
meatballs.
No, my husband's going to want those balls of yours.
I'm not going to stop them. I'm not going to stop them. But I love that people will post pictures of them eating my sauce.
Right.
It makes me so happy. And during COVID, I gave a lot of it away as well. I didn't always charge
Such
people.
a big part.
Well, because people were broke.
Mm-hmm.
And especially people were broke. And there were so many times I knew, and I'd say, you know what, just take it. Don't worry. When we get back on our feet, we'll all be fine. And there's one kid that friend of mine was in Jersey at a bakery, and he ran into this young man that was working behind the counter. He said, oh, I met a friend of yours, blank, blank, blank. And he said, wow, Maria Gentile fed me during COVID.
I love, wow,
now,
how
that
amazing
made
to be
my
able to
heart,
say that, right?
I wanted to cry because I thought, you don't think about that. You don't think about that someone remembered that years later. And he ran into someone else that knew me. And that was the first story he told. So listen, people helped me when I was a young person, they will when I'm an older person, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're all in different boats at different times. Just help each other out. We're just exchanging.
You
That's
come
all
from
it
that
is.
mentality.
Right.
You don't come from the every man for themselves. And unfortunately,
a community.
Well, we all do. We all come from community.
Yeah, well, I think we definitely in this town, those of us that are in entertainment and theater,
very
know
lucky
that.
that's.
We know that we help each other out,
right?
And whatever I try not to judge people. If you're every man for himself, good for you.
Right.
You're not going to really be hanging out with me.
Well, I'll judge you on that.
Yeah,
That's the difference.
Wendy's going to be your judge.
I'll be your judge and tell you that is messed up.
But back to your show. To your show. Tell us about some of your guests that you've had on.
So
you've had everybody on that show.
What I try to do is I try to, it's all about the reality. I want to represent the reality of living, thriving, and surviving as a creative. Now, that does not just mean a singer like me, a songwriter. You can, a visual artist, a chef, people. Last night I had, and some shows I'll have someone as big as Harvey Brownstone, like I did last week, right? Well, Louise Sorrell, who is like,
I love.
And we've had Harvey and Louise on our show. They're both.
And I tell you, I've had a lot of guests, but I am so.
She's great.
Louise is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I can't.
She's wonderful.
She's just fantastic.
Yeah, her stories are great.
But she's a great person. And she's like solid, and
she's a rock solid.
And
New
she's
Yorker,
a Leo,
too.
so they don't mess around.
Yeah.
Leos don't mess around. As is Harvey Brownstone.
Yes.
My mother was a Leo, so I'm fond of Leos. But but I've had last night, for instance, my friend Catherine England. She is from England, and she's a psychotherapist. But I met her here through another mutual friend. But she's done amazing work with people through the arts as a therapist, right? During COVID, I was teaching a class for kids online called Express Yourself. And she signed her grandson up for it. He's in Yorkshire, England. I had kids from all over the country, plus England. And what I'd have them do is talk about their day. They were stuck in the house and they would be drawing or writing. And then at the end of the class, we would show what we did. And so it was just connecting. So I have people like that on. I had the whole family on because her daughter-in-law and son are both visual artists. They are sculptors and painters. At the little grandson, they stayed up till 2 a.m, mind you, to do my show.
Yeah, I was going to say with the time change.
Right? So I have people like that. I've had chefs on. I've had so many people in the city: Karen Mack, Elliot Roth, Lena Katrakis, Marcus Simeone, just anybody that my thing is, I love to perform. I hate to promote myself. I hate it.
Oh, I know the feeling.
So much. It's so.
It's a ton of work. It's a ton of work.
And that's why people like Lori Towers are so important because they do all that.
Right.
Even me, she helped me out with this. I was like, Lori, I can't, my bio. Oh my God. Wendy, she's like, and then I realized my bio on my website was outdated. I was like, oh my God, Lori, like people like that.
Yeah, she would help you with it. But there are people on my other show that are not, I do the LGBTQ show, TriVersity Talk. I have on a lot of just normal people.
Yeah.
The bio thing, I know trips them up. So I'm like, I'm going to write it for you. Just give me like 5 things about yourself.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You never want to get tripped up over a bio. And you just said it. You're a performer and you have an issue promoting yourself. Imagine how a regular person
That's what
feels,
I mean.
Right?
So what I want to do on my show is I'll promote you. Don't worry.
Right.
Tell me what you're doing. I'm going to get the word out for you and we're going to do it together. And that way you don't, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm so tired of telling people I'm doing shows. So this way, I look at Facebook, I see who's coming up and what, and I try to get them on the show so I can promote what they're doing.
Right.
But I also like super interesting. There's some stories that people may not be a performer, but they have a great story to tell. And they're kind of the unsung heroes, like teachers.
You shine a light on them.
I try,
shine a light on them, and they make great guests.
I have friends that are in the NYPD that I feel that are such unsung heroes,
right?
And they're so supportive and
I love it
of our community, and I want to shine a light on them.
Good for you for supporting them,
because that's another thing. I think that we have been so divided. That's our go-to divide. It's us against them.
Right.
They're the jerks. We're not, and then they're thinking, oh Jesus. So I feel like if we just all stopped, sat together, broke some bread, maybe listened to music. Everyone has a story. We're all trying to just survive. Most people are amazing.
Right.
And most people are good people.
And if most people would sit down with other people, they would realize that there are more things that we have in common than our differences.
But it never gets to the sitting down with other people, which is why we have this show, because this is all about sitting down. It's having these conversations and learning. I learned so much about you that I knew you were a performer. I knew you were funny. I knew you had a big personality, but I didn't know about your commitment to the organization you're working with in the Bronx. I didn't know about that.
I love them.
Right. And I didn't know about the background that you came from. It took an Italian village, right? It takes a village, and you certainly,
Absolutely.
and you are paying that forward. And you're linking
Absolutely.
it into what immigrants are going through now. And I thank you for that, you know,
Yeah.
because you're right. We need to sit down and break bread with each other instead of all of
Absolutely.
this polarized
With a little bit of
stuff.
sauce.
With a little sauce.
Yeah.
And meatballs.
I
Don't
can
forget
help you
the
with the
meatballs.
bread.
So we have comments, of course,
Yes.
that we
great.
Well,
can never
firstly,
see.
Firstly, I just want to say,
Go ahead.
go to Facebook.
Yeah.
Maria Gentile. That's Gentile.
Yeah,
Like
looks like
Gentile.
Gentile.
Yeah, it's just
With-
kind of
but it's
fun.
Let me
Italian,
pull
yeah.
this in a little bit closer so that I can help to read some of these.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Rose.
Hi, Rose. We love you.
Trentman.
I love you too.
I
Be
can't
safe in
see.
Alaska.
Oh,
Be
okay.
safe in Alaska, my diva divide.
Nick Lyon.
Now, Nick Lyon will appreciate the balls. I mean, the
Yes.
meatballs.
I love Nick.
We love Nick.
Nick is
it's kind of-
fantastic.
I can't read.
Hi, dear friends. Have a great show. Looking forward to seeing you and celebrating together this Saturday. Apollonia Cabrera, great. Laurie
Apollo.
Towers. You.
Oh, Lori Towers.
Yeah,
Okay.
Greg Michaels.
Michaels. Hi.
Nice to see and hear Maria. It's been a long time.
Who's that?
Greg Michaels.
Oh,
He's
yes.
the actor,
I know
tall,
Greg.
thin.
Very,
Isn't he
very
Is he good
incredible?
looking?
I love
I'll
him.
have to
Yes.
Google him later. Harvey Brownstone.
Oh,
loving
Harvey,
loving
I
this
love him.
great
Harvey, I
conversation.
had Harvey's coffee this
Oh,
morning.
you did. I had to
Oh,
get Harvey's
delicious.
coffee. Yes, Harvey's
Suze.
coffee is available. So we love Suze. Hello, dolls. Hello, Suze.
Suze
Wonderful
is in,
designer.
Oh, there's
designer.
Leo. Leo's my sidekick on the show.
Wait, Leo
He says-
Rodriguez.
He helps me with
Woohoo!
everything.
Love that lady.
That's right.
Helps me with everything.
Most kids don't understand the sense of urgency. Leo is a very smart person. Kevin, for you,
Kevin
Tim.
in
Hey,
Florida.
Tim Moss.
Hi.
And Lori, oh my God. John flew. I like that. John flew where? Where did John fly? You all look like you're having fun. I'm at work, so I can't stay on long. But thank
Hi,
you, John. And Scotty,
Valentine.
I have Goosebumps is a beautiful song.
Oh,
That's
thank
beautiful.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, and here we have Nick Lyon. Oh my God, Maria, that song hit. I knew he would love it. I'm crying, happy tears. God bless you. God bless America. And Nick, you need to get her meatballs and her sauce
Oh,
and
my
her
God.
all of it. You'd love
You'll
it.
love Maria's
Right.
mighty meatballs.
Well, yes,
Thank you.
Scotty, beautiful. Thank you, Marty and Boucher. Great song, great message, and of course, Marty's a good friend of mine. I love him. He wants meatballs.
We'll work it out, Marty. We'll
all
make
right,
it happen.
yeah, right. We'll make those meatballs happen. Marcus Simeone.
Simeone,
Oh,
is
I
that
love him.
Marcus?
My favorite.
Oh,
I'm going to say
hi.
this, and
Yeah.
I hope I don't hurt anyone's feelings, but he is my favorite male vocalist
Right?
of all time.
I don't
He's
know him.
amazing.
Marty,
He's
Marty
like-
and
He's like,
Boucher
you
knows
like
him.
Johnny
Hit
Mathis?
Johnny Mathis.
And you're going
Tell
to
me.
love
Oh,
him.
you'll love him.
But
He's
how did
amazing.
Marty and Boucher know about you knowing him?
Who knows?
Oh,
Who knows?
you mentioned Marcus.
Marcus,
I think.
yeah,
you
Right,
mentioned
but
Marcus.
wow.
Simeone,
Wow.
Marcus Simeone,
Oh,
he
my
is
I have to Google.
Johnny
yeah.
Mathis. Johnny
Oh, my God.
Mathis.
He's with
down.
Lena Katrakis quite a bit, and Sean Harkness. They work together quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
And then
Beautiful voice.
Leah Rodriguez, give me that sauce.
He's adorable.
Give me that sauce. Thank you to everyone for your comments
Absolutely. And
and-
for tuning in.
and for tuning in and watching us eat the meatballs
Oh,
with
yeah.
the sauce right here
I'm
today.
telling you, definitely. I mean, you can follow her for everything, for her
Yeah.
show. Go down and sing with
Yeah.
listen to her sing. But by all means, get some of these because this girl knows how to cook.
Yeah,
She
I
knows
I
how to
love
cook.
I love to cook. If you love
And
to
it's
eat,
the authentic
It
Italian.
is,
You
you
know?
Because she's authentic.
Yeah.
And I don't want to leave out, you had what, 8 MAC nominations?
I think I've had 11 now.
11.
Oh,
but
sweet.
now as
8 for
songwriters,
Right.
9 for Piano Bar Entertainer of the Year,
Uh-huh.
and
amazing.
3 for Song of the Year, and I won.
Wow.
Kindness Makes Me Cry, one of my songs, won for Mac Song of the Year in 2004, I
Oh,
believe,
Wow.
and
It's amazing.
2013 I won for Mac Piano Bar Entertainer of the Year. I'm always happy to be nominated.
Mhm.
But if you want to find any of my music, you can go
Yes.
to mariagentile.com. It's got everything there.
It does.
And my
yeah.
schedule
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
We know where to find her.
Yeah, you know, and also the video of What's the Story. I mean, This Is My
This
America.
is my America, yeah.
Is there, or you can find it on YouTube, but make sure you type in my name next to that, because there's quite a few called This Is My America.
Right.
There are other things, you know. And if you're a teacher and you want to use my song in class,
Yeah.
I would love that. That's one of my dreams, to get my song out there used in
Good comment.
classes to start a discussion about where people's families are from.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And love everybody for tuning in today. Thank you,
Oh,
Maria.
Maria.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Oh, my
pleasure.
goodness, this
You guys
was
are so
Love this
wonderful.
woman.
sweet. You're so
Thank you.
sweet.
Thank you.
It's been really
But
fun.
thank you for all you do.
Yes.
All you contribute. Just continue being Maria, the
all
fabulous
we
Maria.
do, all we do. It's a we thing.
I don't make meatballs.
No, but you don't have to. You contribute, and we all contribute in different ways. If we were all good at the
Try.
same thing, it would be boring.
Right,
We have to be good at
exactly.
different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well,
like
he is good at meatballs.
yeah,
And
the
at
duct
cooking.
tape. I put the duct
And
tape on.
Right.
duct
She
tape.
fixed my lights here today. It's like, listen,
I'm one of those people.
it takes a woman.
It does.
It takes,
All I need is a
takes a
few
woman.
tools and you know,
And
Right.
duct tape.
And duct
Duct
tape and a meatball. She's good to go. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so
Again, next
much.
week we will have our re-show with Charles Bush. If you missed it the first time, tune in next week. It was a wonderful interview.
Mhm.
the best.
And his new book, Leading Lady, is coming out. So and that'll be September 12th. So yeah, it'll be a win-win for everyone. Pangea, where we broadcast from, Kobe Cole, has his Madonna night coming up
Yes, I forget when that is.
August 18th.
Oh, it's August 18th. Okay.
August 18th. So I think it's August
I
18th. He'll
think
kill
I
me
will
if
be
it's not. But yes. So, and just go to Kobe Cole's page. He's been advertising it like crazy.
Mhm.
So thank you all. Maria, thank you.
my
thank you so
pleasure.
very
How
much,
nice to be here.
honey.
And I watch your show all the time.
Oh, you're
I love
so-
this show. I
Thank
love
you.
it. Yeah, no, but it's the truth. I love it. So I watch it
I'm
all the
gonna
time.
miss being here next Wednesday when I'm on an ice floe
Wow.
with a
Right,
walrus.
Ah, is that code? I don't know.
I think we'll